Hey everybody, thank you so much for stopping by. So in today's video, we'll be giving out tips on how to select the best countries or the right countries rather for study abroad purposes. So if you're looking at studying abroad, either for your master's degree, your PhD, or your postgraduate diploma or any advanced degree, then this video is for you. Without much ado, I would like to first of all point out that this is we are in the fall intake season for those who anticipate to apply for graduate school in the fall to start in the fall of 2026. That's September of 2026. This is the right time for you to start thinking about your applications, right? Putting together everything. However, selecting the right country to study in for your degree could be very tricky, as many people do not really understand exactly what to do or what to think about, or what are the things, what's the criteria, what are some of the things that I need to consider before I can be able to select the right country to study in. Every country can be good for those who don't know and those who don't have experience. You can feel like, I just want to go study here or there, right? Um, and you have no idea what studying in that country can do for you. So, if you're that person looking for such information, this video is for you. So, at the end of this video, you should be able to know what it takes or some of the things that you need to consider in order to apply for study abroad opportunities, graduate school, that's master's, PhD, PhD, in any country abroad. The first thing that you want to consider to think about selecting the right country to study abroad is your motivation, right? You want to think about it yourself. What is actually motivating you? What is driving you? What is that thing that is pushing you to go study abroad? Do you just want to study abroad because your parents said you should study abroad, or you want to go study in another country because um, you saw your friends studying, right? Or you want to study abroad because you have a passion for something that you want to search for and it's not in your own home country. That's why you want to go. So people have different reasons of wanting to study abroad. And until you know what your motivation is, then you will be able to understand exactly where you want to go to. So the first thing is that uh, there are some countries, for example, specific in training, uh, training people in particular fields, right? So that's one of the things that you want to think about. What is your motivation? And then you can think about, okay, if I'm motivated, if this is what is motivating me, then oh, I can go to this particular country. If my parents are the ones motivating me, then I have to follow the rules that my parents are setting up for me, right? So you want to think about it yourself. First off, ask yourself this question: what is the motivation? The second thing that you want to think about when thinking about study abroad, right? This is what people don't really start to begin with. They don't really think about it this way. But when you anticipate studying abroad, you want to first of all think about what is your post graduation plan. Meaning, I want to study a PhD, and I am already thinking about what my post graduation plan is going to be after 5 years of my PhD degree. What is my plan after 2 years of my master's degree program, right? When you think about your post graduation plan, then it guides you exactly to know where you want to go to. For example, if I am going in for a master's degree program, and the master's degree program I'm doing is 2 years, and after 2 years of my master's degree program, I want to advance into another degree, which is into a PhD program. I want to think about it as in, well, I need to look for a country that can accommodate me to allow me transition from my master's degree to PhD, because not every country allows students to transition from a master's degree to a PhD or transition between degree programs, which means some of the countries will not allow you. They will be like, okay, you have your degree, you go back to your country or you do XYZ, right? So if your post-graduation plan, for example, is to advance to another degree, which is like moving from a master's to a PhD, you want to think about that country that allows for that, because not every country does that, right? You also want to think about it about post-graduation work experience. Do you want to stay in that country? Do you want a country where you will go to and stay beyond your post-graduation and be able to work to gain international work experience before you go back to your home country, or before you go to another country, or before you do whatever you want to do? Is that what you're looking out for? If you're looking out for a country that allows for you, or if you're looking out for a place where you want to study and after that you can have post-graduation work experience, then you want to select those countries that have visa flexibility, especially for international students, that will allow you to work, give you some time, whether it's 6 months, a year, or 2 years, or whatever number of years they will give you to work beyond post graduation experience. Because this thing comes especially to people like a shocker, right? People just go because they heard you can go to this country and study, and then when they are done, they have to leave, and you are like, I didn't know I was going to leave. You were supposed to know that before you apply to begin with, right? So you want to think about it so that you don't go to a place. I will not want to go to a place where they will not allow me to have a post graduation work experience after my degree. If that is me, I will start at that moment when I'm still selecting or considering the countries to apply to. I'll just go straight ahead and apply or look for other countries that will give me that opportunity to study in a country where they'll allow me for post graduation work permit, allow me to transition between degree programs and all of that. The next thing you also want to think about, all right, this is, you're an international student. I'm talking to international students. If you anticipate studying in a country as an international student, you also first of all want to think about um, what is the immigration situation like towards international students? Are there immigration rules in a country you're going to favorable for international students, right? You want to consider these things because they are really very important things to think about. You don't want to go to a space or to a place or a host country where you are sitting in class and the only thing you're thinking about is your trauma after your graduation, or I'm saying your graduation, your classes and all of that, moving from one end to the next, always panicking, always being in. You want a place where you know that international students are welcome, they feel comfortable, they prioritize their studies, their academics, and all of that. So you want to go to a place where the rules will allow you to sit, focus, and do whatever that you came to do in that country, which is to study, right? You want to go to places like that. That's one of the things that you can do if you are considering applying to school. Another thing you want to think about is funding situation, right? Money, 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 money. You want to consider the funding situation in the country that you are going to. It would be very difficult for people who would want to go to study in a country and they don't have personal funds, or they are doing, let me say, they are doing personal funding, they're funding through their pockets. Personal funding could be you directly funding yourself, or it could be from your parents, it could be from your sponsors, it could be from your guardians, or anybody who is funding you. And that money is not given in the form of a scholarship or in the form of a fellowship or a grant. That is personal funding. So you want to think about a country where there is a possibility for you to have financial support like scholarships, if that is your case, or there is a possibility where you can do personal funding, you can fund from your pocket, out of pocket, and you will not feel drained, right? There are countries like that. For example, if you want to do personal funding, you want to go to you want to go and study a master's degree or a PhD degree, and you want to do personal funding or out of pocket, bro, you will not be thinking about going to a place like America to fund out of pocket. It's exorbitant. Like, it will drain you. It will drain you. There are schools that, for example, my school, the degree program in a single year is like $84,000. And just think about it, that you have 5 years of a PhD degree, $85,000 times 5 years. That's a lot of money that you will not be able to fund from your pocket, right? So you want to look at it and say, okay, if this country I am going, my financial situation is in such a way that I don't have scholarship and I want to do the funding from out of pocket. So I'll prefer to go to a country that is more favorable to me so that I can be able to do out of pocket. There are countries where you can fund, you can pay for your tuition as low as even $1,000. Even below that, there are countries like that. Technically, it's free education, but because you are an international student, you have to pay for some charges and all of that. But most people, they go there, attend university free of charge. So those are places you want to go to. You want to consider those things. If you know that you don't have scholarships, you don't have grants, you don't have fellowships, you have not secured any form of external funding, what you want to do is that you want to look for a country that can allow you to fund out of pocket, and they are flexible, so that in the course of you not being able to secure any external support, you can be able to fund yourself during your degree program. All right. So I believe that these tips are very useful. And you also want to think about the cost of living in that space, right, in that country. If you're going to a place where the cost of living is really more than what you can earn as a student on the time limit that they will give you to work during your studies. Most countries will give you 20 hours or 18 hours or so max, but there are some countries that will give 25 hours for you to work during school time and then full time during the summer. But I will say that you want to consider the cost of living in that country before you also think about applying to those schools or applying to schools. So if you are anticipating studying abroad, you want to watch this video, and I hope that the points I have made here are very useful and that they can guide you or give you some idea of what to do when you are looking for that opportunity to study abroad, or you're looking at schools to study in. Do not do not go to a country to study because your mother told you to go to that country, because parents sometimes, some parents, it's not all the parents, some parents sometimes are like, well, my friend's kid is studying in this country, or I heard somebody's kid is studying in this country, you should go there. No, it is not every country that an international student can study there, come out and be successful. Some of the countries, when you study, you get drained after your studies because you now have some situations, experiences that you did not know after your degree. Well, you cannot advance to a PhD, or you cannot get post graduation work permit, whereas you were not informed in the to begin with. So it is your assignment. That's your homework. Do that homework yourself. Due diligence, right? Do all of that yourself, and know especially the right country that you can study in. I hope that this helps you, and that this is very useful. Stay glued to our platform as well. And there are other videos that I have posted about how to search for scholarships and other videos like that. Step by step process on how to search for scholarships, step by step process on what to do when you receive a scholarship links and all of that. You can just scroll down and watch them. And I hope that the tips are useful. Right. Thank you, and see you in our next video. Bye bye.